Hello and welcome back to a Kooky corner of YouTube, where today I'm going to show you my method for creating these beautiful little paperweights with the Neurographic art on. This little technique I've been working on a couple of days now just to try it out and see how different paints react on the rocks that I've got. These are basically these smooth rocks. I do believe there was a set of them that you can get from Amazon, which is where I got mine from. But any smooth rock that you can get, if you've got some garden in the garden, I don't advise you take them from a beach because I don't think we're allowed to, but these ones I actually bought, and you can get them from garden centres as well. Obviously you can use them as decorative stones in your garden. So yeah, these are from Amazon. I will try and find a link to these and I will leave it in the description box so that you can have a look if you're interested in these particular ones. They're a really nice dark colour. And obviously any colour stone is perfect. You know, you just have to try and pick your paints and marker pens in order to show up the best on these. So getting into that, the first thing I tried, obviously, because I have a whole lot of them, are these beautiful Posca pens. This is a white one. Obviously the darker colours don't show up as well, so I'd suggest you do some kind of lighter, like silver or white or a light grey, or in this case, this one. This is a different marker pen. This is a Molotow pen. It's the one for all acrylic pens. You can get these, I think, in different thicknesses as well. Look at me with my blue paint all over my finger. As do the Posca pens. They come in different thicknesses. I suggest for doing your Neuro lines, you use something that's not too thick, because obviously the stones are very small, but you do want to get your Neuro lines on there without taking up the whole of the space. So those are the two pens that I have used. Obviously any other paint pen that you can get hold of is going to be good. Not sure about Sharpies because I haven't tried those, so I don't know how opaque they would be on this. Maybe the paint Sharpies may work. Give it a go. I would definitely suggest using what you have. Don't go out and buy something specifically. Try what you've got. If you don't have any paint markers at all, then use your acrylic paints. I would probably suggest maybe acrylic wash because it's kind of got that opaqueness to it. I haven't tried it, but that's not to say that I won't be trying it at some point, because it sounds like a really good idea to try. But yeah, Neuro lines with a brush, haven't tried that yet, but again, that's something that I'm open to trying. So I'm going to go through the process with you. Obviously, I've gone through the pens that I used, and as for the paints that I'm using at the minute, I'm using golden fluid acrylics, which they're really quite nice to work with because they are not too thick. You can layer them as well, so you can mix them together, obviously. And I've got a small selection here. I've got a bigger selection, but these are the ones I decided to work with. So I have a bone black, I have a phthalo turquoise, I've got an iridescent bright gold, which is the one that's on that one there. I have an iridescent gold deep, which is on that one there. And I have an iridescent silver fine, which is on this one up at the top here. That was the first one I did. I just wanted to try different things. So it's quite a busy one there, but I just wanted to see if I could actually work this. If you want to mix these, obviously you could do a fluid white. I have got one of the high flow acrylics in a titanium white, which I've mixed successfully with this turquoise in order to do that colour there, because it's quite a dark phthalo turquoise, this one. Oh, let me put these down. I seem to be juggling them. So it's quite dark, so I mixed that with a little bit of this golden titanium white in order to get that colour that's on this one here. But I'm going to go through the process with you. As usual, I will take you through what I'm doing. So the first part of the process is going to be me drawing the neuro lines on a stone, trying to decide which one of these to go with. I think it might be this one that I'm going to try. So this is the one we're going to work on. I've got another one for a spare later. I'll pop that to one side. So yes, go and grab your paints and you can have a go along with me if you like. As I said, any paints that you've got, just try them on your stones. If you don't like what it looks like, get a wet wipe and just clear it off, basically. So if I say, let me just show you, we'll try this. So I'm writing on there, I don't like the colour or I don't like what it looks like. I'm going to grab myself wet wipe, clear it off. Simples. Until it sets, it's all game for change. Obviously what I don't suggest is when you're doing your neurographic lines and you don't like them. I'm quite a stickler for when I do my neurographic lines, they go the way they go and I just have to deal with it however they go. It's up to you, but for me personally, when I create neurographic art, where the lines end up is where they are. Even when I do digital neurographic art, I don't use the erase button unless it's a genuine mistake where I've touched the top of the tablet and I've made a mark that I don't really want. But otherwise, if it goes, it stays. So if I put it down, lay it down, clearly where the line wants to be, and which is a part of neurographic art. And I just personally wanted some paperweights because I use these quite a lot when I'm cutting out patterns. So apologies to the noise in the background. Some patterns, when I'm cutting those out, I obviously use these as to hold things down instead of pinning things down, but also paperweights. And they're just beautiful, to be honest. They're just really nice to look at. And it's nice to have a reminder of what I do with my neurographic art on my desk. So without any further ado, go and grab your pens, go and grab your paints, and let's have a go at creating our own stone. Okay, so I've got my stone. I've also still got blue paint on my hands. Ignore that. See if I can get it off with a wet wipe. I'm messy. So I've got my stone. I've got two Posca pens that I'm going to try for this, so I thought I'd go with like a purpley colour this time. So this one is a lilac. So that's a Posca lilac in PC3M. I have got my white Posca, which is also a PC3M, so they're both the same size. And I've got two small brushes. This one is an unnamed number 2, quite flat. There's that one, and then this one is a ProArt Proline, and it's a 0, so it's a really small brush, and I use this for getting those tiny little dots that I put on them. Okay, so first of all, what I'm going to do is shake in my pen. You can hear that in the background. So I always shake the pens before I use them to loosen up the ink inside and to get it moving around. So let's pop that one over to one side for a second. I've also got my handy little resting snake to rest my brushes on. They're a bit damp at the minute, so I'll put them over there just to rest. Okay, so looking at my stone, I'm going to start with some circles. Just to start me off. This one's going to kind of link in a little bit. It's kind of just overlapping at the edge. A bit thicker. I'm going to have one off to the side here. Just be wary of the tiny little imperfections that you get in your stone and just work with it accordingly. And I think I like that as is. So now I'm going to start my Neurographic lines. So obviously I'm starting at one edge as far down as I can on the stone. And it's moving wherever it wants to go. I try and change its direction because this is a slow process. I've seen some people do this and they go really quickly, and it's a little bit like when they're drawing Zen doodles or Zen tangles. They do a really quick swirl in the middle, and that's not really what Neurographic art is about. It's about slow, mindful, and concentrating on where your line wants to go and trying to push it in an opposite direction. So you have to go fairly slowly. Going around the outside of that circle there. I will try and connect to the bottom. I want to go as far down as the stone as I can. So if it goes off the side, I want it to go right down to the bottom. It wants to start there, so let's go there. This one's going up this way. And letting it go down there. This one's coming off from this side. Let's go through that, intersect through there, and it's going down the other side there. And I feel this one needs to come round and down. You can go over your lines once you've done them, just let them go where they are. And if sometimes the white Posca pen needs you just to add that extra, you can see that it's quite faint. So once it's dried, just go back in and add in over the line. That's fine to do. And I will probably do that all the way through this here. So neuro lines, where do we want to be? I think I want one down here. It's going to intersect there. It's going to come up around there. And down. Just looking to see if I need any others in there at the minute. Because this is quite a small space, you don't want to overwhelm it too much. But sometimes it wants to be overwhelmed, so it really is just a matter of judgment and what you think about how it's working for you. So now I'm going to do the rounding of the intersections. So where those intersections meet, there's going to be a sharp point, so you want to try and get rid of those just by rounding off. And at this point, that's when I'll start to go back and deepen the colour on the lines that I've already got. I'm rounding that there. That needs to be rounded. And you move your stone around, obviously try not to disturb any of the wet paint on it. But looking for those intersections or sharp edges, points in your art, and then just rounding them off. And this is really what I find that the most relaxing point. I'm just rounding out the sharp points. And deepening those lines. So I am going to continue to do this. I'll be back in a minute with my first application of colour. So you continue as well, so rounding out all of the intersections, and we'll be back in a minute when I finish that. Okay, so I've finished most of the rounding out. I can still spot a few that just need that extra bit of rounding. As you go along, if you do that, don't worry, don't fret about it. It's something that you can just go in and correct. So just have a look. Sometimes It helps if someone else looks at it because they can generally. I know that you can probably see 6 more bits that I've missed that I haven't seen, and that's the way it goes. Because when you're looking at things closely, sometimes it's hard to spot the obvious. I think I've got most of them. There's one. See, you probably spotted that one already. And this is almost good to go for the extra decoration now. Making sure that's a little rounder than it was. Anywhere it's pointy. Okay, there, we see another. Doesn't matter if you end up with just a tiny small piece on the top there that hasn't got anything in it. It's all good. Okay. So I've decided to go with a purpley lilac-y colour to go inside mine, along with some silver. So I've got my purple lilac pen and I'm just going to go in and colour in some of those spaces. Ideally, you want to wait until your neurolines have dried a bit. I'm trying to be extra careful. Most of them are fairly dry. It's just I don't want to smudge anything. But at the minute it looks good to go. So I'm going with it. So I'm colouring in all of these top bits here. Leaving a few because I've got a few that I would like to be that silver colour. So obviously you can get these in a finer point. So if you struggle with this size, of tip, you can get an even smaller one. The only problem I find with the smaller one is unless it's quite a juicy pen, it tends to get a little bit scratchy, whereas this is quite smooth. The 5s I think would be way too big. The PC 5Ms. Obviously it depends on the size of your stone, but these are quite small. So I think this size of pen or thereabouts is a good one to use. Alternatively, once you've got your neurolines, which I will be showing you in a minute, you go in with some just paint. You don't have to go in with more colours of Posca. You could just use some paint. Spotted a little corner there, so I'm just going to round it out with this lilac colour. Rounding it all out. Okay, so now I've got my iridescent silver fine. This is the golden fluid acrylic. I'm just going to put some on, a tiny amount. You don't need a lot. So look, see how much on my little plastic palette there. I've only got a little bit because you really, really don't need too much at all. And I've got my very, very small pen brush. I'm just going to go in some of these ones. I'm going to lay it on quite thickly because you don't want to be too thin. Alternatively, you could do a few layers of it. So you wait until your first one's dried off and then just go back in and give it another coat, like you can do with the neurolines as well. So if you want to strengthen the colours, because this is kind of a very dark stone, it may take a few more coats, depending on the kind of paint you've got as well. The fluid acrylic by Golden is super opaque, and obviously I'm giving it quite a thickish coating, trying to make sure that I'm covering all the lines. So these are all getting filled in. Any points that I might have missed, like that one there, are going to be corrected with the silver paint. As I say, just correct things as you go along. There aren't any neurographic art police who are going to come along and tell you off for missing rounded points. Okay, so now I'm going to go in and add a bit of decoration. So into my purple, I'm also going to add some silver as well. Not in all of them, just in certain ones. Adding in a little bit of decoration. And this is where the very fine tip comes in, because you can start to very gently add in some dots where you feel appropriate. So this is going to be the finishing touches that you want to add in. You can have as many colours as you like in yours. You could limit your palette to certain ones. I quite like the lilac and silver. That goes quite nicely together. You also may bring in a little touch of black as well into this, just because. And then you can add in some bigger circles if you want to. Obviously trying to make sure that you're covering up all the underneath area. Whoopsie, there we go. And I think I'm done with the silver now. Just pop in some water. And I'm also going to add in some little purple dots down my neuro lines as well. And also into that top area, going around. And you can keep going with yours until you're happy with it, and add in whatever you like, different bits. I said I was going to add some black in, so I'm going to grab a little bit of the golden. This is the bone black. I just actually accidentally touched one of the silver dots. Luckily it didn't smudge. Again, you can see how little you use of this paint. It's an expensive paint, I'm not going to lie. It's not a cheap acrylic paint, but I think on this occasion you get what you pay for. And because I've had these fluid acrylics for quite some time, and they go so far, you really don't need a whole load of them, just little touches. So I'm going in with the bone black now. You can add it onto the white. This is where your own artistic interpretation will come in. You can add in what you feel you want to add. If you want to go back in on top of this with another colour, do it. Go for it. Even on that silver, I'm going to add a little of this as well. Bone black is beautiful. And I'm also going to take it a little bit down this line here and down here. Oh, I'm quite liking that. I think dots and circles work really well in this. You could even, if you wanted to, you could try striping some. Let's have a go, shall we? Yeah, adding a little stripe in down the neuro line. That's quite nice. Obviously, steady hand. I've got too much paint on. You can see how very little of this you actually do use. So if you did want to invest, I highly recommend golden fluid acrylics. They are supremely pigmented, for one thing, and actually just make painting a pleasure. There. I say there and then I think, oh, just one more. I'm going in with that one there. And now I'm done. So that's that little stone all painted. What I am going to do with these is they are going to, once I finish them, I'm going to give them a coat of clear varnish. You can get the spray on varnish. Today's quite a wet day and I will spray outside with a mask. So I'm going to try and wait for a bit more sunshine to come through before I spray mine, but they will be finished off with an acrylic varnish. You can do gloss or matte. It really is up to you which one you want to choose. I might go glossy with these just because I think it makes the colours pop. So let's zoom back out a little bit so I can bring all of these stones in for you to look at. Again, I've got an even number. So I have to paint another one now to make it. I don't know what it is with me and odd numbers. I have no idea. So there they are. Grab yourself some stones, get your paints out and paint a little bit of neuro art onto your stones and make yourself a beautiful paperweight that can sit on your desk, and you can even take it around in your pocket so that you can hold on to it. I don't know if you'd like to do that. I quite like having crystals and things in my pocket that I can hold on to. And now I'll be able to have my own little stone with my neuro art on it. Have a great day. Enjoy painting. Enjoy creating. And I'll be back again soon with another video. Please like and subscribe this channel. It really helps. I've just surpassed my 200 subscribers mark. Yay! So if you really enjoy what I've been doing, please do like and subscribe, and click that bell if you want to know when I'm uploading. I usually upload on a Tuesday and a Friday around about the 6-7 o'clock mark of GMT. So do pop back, come and see me again, and have a great day. Bye.